Nityanandam. All right, so my name is Ma Nitya Dugananda. I'm a Acharya for Gurukul in Singapore. And I also take care of Asia, online Gurukul in Asia, working with people like Hamas and Alagama in Malaysia. And also people who need help, we are always happy to help, in different parts of the world on Gurukul matter. So I've been doing parenting for a while now. So starting, I think, last year, but this year, with this whole online Gurukul taking off with Swamiji's blessing. So now I think there are at least 4 appointed acharyas who will talk about enlightened parenting. Of course, Marva was the first, and after having trained by her for many years, so some of us, the senior acharyas, are ready to take on to the next level of expansion, which is giving talks like enlightened parenting. Okay, so I'm a mother myself. I have a 16-year-old son, and so I have a lot to share and a lot to also learn in terms of what I've learned from Swamiji when it comes to parenting kids. Okay, and I'm more than happy for all of you to ask questions later on, whatever parenting challenges you may face, and or even as acharyas, teachers. If you are a teacher in school or in Gurukul, some of the challenges you face when handling kids of different ages, you're more than happy to, later on we can dedicate some time for question and answer, and then we can, address the issue based on the spiritual solution. Okay, see, what Swamiji offers is spiritual solution rooted from the enlightened consciousness. Understand? See, nobody learned how to become parents. Tell you honestly, we just get married, and then the next thing we realize we have kids, right? So you can't go to an institution to learn how to be a parent, right? So it's like you learn on the job. But a lot of solution that I'm going to share comes from how Swamiji relate with his Gurukul kids, okay, his balasans. It is only from that context that I understand how we can actually nurture the kids from their pure space, from their already enlightened space. Understand? So I'm going to share with you all this, how to handle especially the modern kids, the kids in the modern world, okay? This century, all the kids, they're all highly evolved, intelligent, updated with, from past generation, how to handle them, okay? And the challenges in the world that we're facing because of, living in the internet age, and all the destruction they are facing. So all that will come as part of the whole challenge a parent face or a teacher's face when handling the kids, okay? So let me just recap the topics for today, okay? Is how to do completion with kids. Actually, this topic came from the last session I had 2 weeks ago from one of the Chinese, parent. They say, okay, we all know the importance of doing completion, how to bring the kids back to their space of the child, but how to do it. Can you now do a session on teaching us how to do completion with kids? Is it very different with adults? So that's why this session was, the topic was chosen. It was actually a follow-up from the last session, those of you who attended, okay? So, but before we enter into the completions part, let me just do a general understanding from the enlightened consciousness, what you need to know before you enter into completion with kids, based on Swamiji's teaching, okay? So first thing you need to understand is the kids especially when they are in the age of 7 and below, they reside in the space called the space of a child. Okay? Meaning, if you look at the kids, if they're in that space, they don't really have a mind yet. Understand? It is a pure space of awareness. They're just in listening, they're just in observation awareness. And they're constantly, energetic, alive, connected with the source. Understand? They are actually in that space. It's a space of huge possibility. We call that, in a very general term, the enlightened space. Understand? Where the mind is not yet created. Understand? So kids reside in that space, and the truth is they know a lot more than us adults, which are already, the adult space is very much corrupted or conditioned by society with our fears and greed. Understand? By society, by our parents, by the schools, by the institution, government, everything, media. So the adult space is no longer the pure space like the space of a child, where it means they don't really have a mind and they are living in a pure awareness. Okay? It is only when some incident happened to the kid which imbalanced them. That incident we call root incident, and which created a hangover in them, and hence forming the first root pattern. That means the time where they perceive themselves lower than what they are. See, before that, they are in the pure awareness, okay, connected to the source. But the moment they encounter something, it can be something traumatic, or it can be something as simple as the child did not get the sweet from the mother and the mother gave the sweet to the brother. It can be as simple as that, or it can be as traumatizing as a physical assault. That means the child got beaten up badly physically. It doesn't matter what is the external event. The most important thing is how the child perceives life, how the child perceives them, okay? How the child perceives the inner image of the child. Like if let's say the mother did not give him the sweet or didn't buy the birthday cake, and the child may perceive, oh, I'm not loved. That's what he perceives himself, that he's not loved by the mother. And he feels that life is unfair because my brother got the cake and I didn't get my cake. I didn't get anything. I did not have any celebration. So just as simple as that only can create an incompletion in the child. Understand? It is how the child perceives, the external event, incident. Okay? So like this only, when the child start to have this imbalance in the inner space, this is the time he created the mind. And this is also the time he leaves the pure space of awareness, the space of completion. Understand? Give me a thumbs up, you can follow me. Great. Okay. So, like this only, if you look back in our own life, okay, when you were a child, something happened in your first 7 years of your age. It can be related to your parents. It can be related in school. Something happened, even your caretaker. It could be your grandmother or grandfather, okay? Whoever took care of you. Something happened in your life which imbalance you, makes you feel lesser than who you are. Understand? So that's where you start. The mind is born. Your mind is born, okay? And the interesting about the mind is it doesn't stop there. You start to go on and creating more and more and more root pattern, more and more incompletion. That's what the mind is capable of doing. So by the time a child reaches teenage or young adult, you can imagine the child would have created a whole web of incompletion and root patterns. Okay? So by then, the child will not be able to relate with the original space of a space of the child, the pure awareness space. But as parents, as acharyas, you have the opportunity to once again bring them back to their space. Understand? Sometimes parents are not aware of this space of a child and this whole science of a completion. So they themselves created a situation where the child develop incompletion or hangover with the parents. Understand? So then, if you're a parent, then you recognize that. Then you need to, get back to the space and, help the kids to complete and make sure that you also complete with the child if you are the source of the incompletion also. Okay? So, any questions so far? Thumbs up. Okay, you're tracking with me? Good. So, I've spoken about the importance to again and again bring the kids back to this pure space of completion. The space of the child is a space of complete completion. That means your original state of awareness. The original state where we're living in pure awareness, in direct connection with the source. And in that space, that's why I say it's a huge possibility, because when the child is connected to the source, it means what? They can download whatever they need. They have that awareness. They'll be highly energetic, highly creative, highly healthy. They will be very healthy. So they will be just, existing as they are, as a divine being, a divine child. Understand? If you look at the kids when they are in the pure space, they are just so enjoyable to be with. That's why, like some parents, they love to be with the kids. They don't want to go to work because, when they're in the kids, they feel that pure space of innocence, purity, and joy. Understand? That is the original space. And we came from that space too. Understand? It's just that we have distanced ourselves and left the space because we've been conditioned so much by society. Okay? So the society made us forget about that original space and become who we are today because, we need to function in the society. We think that in order to function in society, we need to follow the society's rules, regulation, and all that. Okay? So that's one thing I want to talk about is space of a child. So then the next thing I want to talk about is the kids of this generation. You need to understand also. The kids of this generation, they are highly, highly intelligent. Okay? Because Swamiji said that each generation is an updation. Hey, come on, you look at them. When they're born, they will know how to play gadgets. You don't need to teach them. They just look. They can start fiddling with the gadget, right? Whether it's iPad or whether it's a tablet or mobile phone, they will know how to do it because each generation is updated for the life they need to live. And you should know that more and more evolved advanced souls are descending on planet Earth. Whether you call it rainbow kids, you call it indigo kids, or you call it, special needs kids, whatever it may be. These kids are highly intelligent and they came down to planet Earth with a clarity of their purpose. That means they know what they want. They don't want to entertain a lot of things, nonsense in the society. Okay? That's why if we try to force them to, go to the society way of, taking care of them, the next thing you realize that either they ignore you or they rebel. You have difficulty. How many of you have kids with a highly evolved soul? Raise your hand. Come on, let me see. Okay, we have a few. Yes. My son is also one. My son is have a lot of past life connection with Swamiji. So he's highly evolved. So I don't know how Swamiji sent that being to me. So now I have to handle this, you know, Shiva Bhuta. Okay. So next thing you need to understand that Swamiji talk about this thing called Yoga Prasta. Even kids with autism, understand, these kids are highly intelligent. They have assumed that form to come down because they don't want to go through the society nonsense. They come in that form. So the parents have no choice but to have to, create something different for them. They're not forced to go through this normal society schoolings and all that. Understand? A lot of them, either they do homeschooling or they go to a special school, whatever. Understand? A lot of such kids have descended on planet Earth because the planet Earth is going through a huge conscious breakthrough, a breakthrough in consciousness. So that is the reason why many kids with very advanced, soul are descending here because they're coming here to contribute, to raise the frequency of planet Earth. Okay? If you live around Swamiji's kids and Sangha, you will see many of such kids because they have chosen to come back, in this body to get back and create a totally different world than the one that we have lived and our parents have lived. Understand? So that's the exciting part. It means more and more evolved kids are coming. Okay? But of course, the challenge is the parents and the teachers. How to handle such highly intelligent beings if you're still stuck in your grandmother's mental setup, your mother's mental setup. The way you were brought up was you brought up by your mom only, right? But if you are using the same old thinking and mental setup to bring up your kids, you will hit the wall. Understand? You cannot use that anymore. They're obsolete for this generation. So, which means you need to update your intelligence as a parent, as a teacher, to handle these bunch of highly intelligent kids and evolved kids. Understand? Be very clear. All the Guru kids, they're somehow attracted to Swamiji's, whether it's Sangha or Swamiji's Gurukul, anything, any program that's related to Swamiji. They are all those evolved kids. Okay? Whether you know it or not, they are all there. So, which means as acharyas, as whether it's teachers or parents, we have to learn how to handle these kids from the spiritual solution with the spiritual knowledge and intelligence. Okay? Because otherwise you will hit the wall and you will feel that you're not able, you'll be out of control. You don't know how to handle them, and you feel that you're inadequate in handling the kids, and they are climbing all over you and sitting on top of your head, and you don't know what to do. Okay? So far I covered two things: space of a child, which is the enlightened space, and then adult space. We need to go into the kids space, not pulling the kids out of our adult space, because our space is already filled with conditioning of fear and greed. So we need to enter into their space. Second thing is the kids of this era are highly evolved and intelligent. Okay? They have come to create a different life, a different consciousness, to raise planet Earth to the next level. But when they are still in the young body, where nurturing is required, the right ambience is required, we need parents and teachers to cooperate and create a a conducive environment for these kids to groom, to nurture, to be nourished in the right way. It's just like the seed, the plant is sprouting, right? The young sapling is just grown. And then you need to have the right ambience with the sunlight and water so that the sapling grow into a banyan tree. Before the banyan trees can grow, if you are not aware, the parents who are not aware and kept stepping on it, punishing the poor little plant. And then, of course, before that, the plant is destroyed. Understand? So that is why we need to have the evolved intelligence from Swamiji to handle these kids. Because these kids, like I said, they're evolved soul. Okay? Understand now? Yes? Thumbs up? Okay, awesome. So the next thing I want to let you know is completion, okay? Again and again, we need to remind them to go back to the space of completion. Understand? Because again, the society, the external happening, keep pulling the kids out from the pure space. Understand? It can be as simple as watching a horror movie, a boom, and they got frightened. And then they, because of their intense fear, they left the space. It could be as, so constantly with a lot of distraction and events in the external world is creating a lot of opportunities for the kids to be pulled out of the pure space. And if we don't take an effort and responsibility to bring them back to the space of completion, I can tell you by very, very young age, you see, before they reach 10, the kid would have already accumulated a lot of incompletion. And as a result, they are disturbed, psychologically. That's the reason why if you look at the kids nowadays, okay, by the time, they reach 10 or before they reach even teenagers, a lot of them already disturbed psychologically from a lot of stress or expectation from society, from school, from parents, or they feel they're bored with their life. They do not know what they're doing because so many rules and so many do's and don'ts, and they feel bored. They don't know what they're doing. They feel that, life is meaningless. Life is, it's just, they're just existing, but without any inspiration. You see that such kids. And then after that, what they do is sometimes they run into distraction, like go and do something, whether it's drugs or any kind of addiction. Because, they're bored, right? In their boredom, they try to find something to stimulate, to have a cheap thrill. And then that's where the danger comes. When the parents are not aware of such happening in the kids' inner space, that's where very quickly the kids start to move away, more and more away from the space of, complete completion, and start creating more and more mess in their life, which is not what we want. Okay? So as parents, you need to be very, very clear about what is happening in your child, meaning you have to spend time with them. You give birth to them. Don't think that, the school is taking care of them. The school only do some part of their job. But as a parent, you brought a life to planet Earth. You have the responsibility to bring them up. Understand? So a lot of parents sometimes, because their work, they just, forget that. By the time they come back home, they don't have time for the kids, or they're just too tired. They don't have the energy to spend with the kids and all that. So that's not ideal, which is also compounded another issue. Mother's not there when the kids needs them. Okay? The mother plays a major role in the upbringing of the kids, because in the first 9 years of a child's age, the mothers play the role of the person who give confidence and security, which is some base quality to where the kids must develop in order to explore life. Can you imagine they're constantly in fear? They'll be not able to explore life. they will not have the courage to go and explore, to try, because life will become constant impossibility for them. Oh, I can't do this. No, 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 it's too difficult. I cannot. The I cannot, and it's too difficult, become their mantra. Today, I just was teaching 3 kids yoga. And when I asked them to do some asana, the first thing, oh, I can't do it. My leg pain, all this kind of thing. You can see the conditioning. So easily they give up. But then as an acharya, as a teacher, as a parent, you need to, again, give a lot of encouragement, strength, and right understanding to move them away from that space of impossibility. Understand? If we look back in our life, how we create so much problem in our life is because we started to invite a lot of impossibility in our life. I can't do this because of self-doubt. Oh, this is too difficult. So many of this self-doubt created a lot of impossibility. Understand? And Swamiji says that very, very beautifully. See, you know that we have 7 energy centers, 7 chakras, right? So the root chakra is the Muladhara chakra. Okay? This is the chakra where a being ground to this physical plane, planet Earth. Okay? That means the grounding on planet Earth is needed so that this child feel at ease living in this environment, this planet Earth, so that the child can grow, expand, and contribute. When the child does not feel comfortable, feel scared, feel bored, feel angry with this space, with this planet Earth, how can the child become powerful and explore? See, when the impossibly start to enter into the inner space, the inner cognition of life themselves, be very clear, the root chakra is blocked. The Muladhara chakra is blocked when they entertain impossibility. Because they move away from the integrity with the being, the integrity with the source. That loss of integrity enters only when the impossibility, the ideas of impossibility start getting inserted into them, whether it's by parents, by school, by society, by media, anything. Understand? So how we need to bring them back again? It's through completion only. That's why Swamiji said that the first chakra is where Ganesha resides. Ganesha is the Lord of completion. He is the deity which resides in the root chakra and the Muladhara chakra. And by bringing the kids back to the completion space, they will experience possibility. They experience positivity. Life is positive. Life is good. Life is awesome. Life is all possible for me. Life is wonders. Understand? Okay, I know many of you are scribbling away, don't know. Okay, I slow down for a while first. If you need to write it down now. So, see, as parents or a teacher, you have to be very careful the words you use when you speak to the kid. That's why in Swamiji's Gurukul, they never have a word say no. In the Swamiji's Gurukul, when I was there, I never hear the kids say no. You know what they say? 0. 0 is infinity. Infinity means what? Possibility. So when I was there for Nityananda Yogam for 3 months, and we were doing some courtyard session with the Balasans, and we were talking and we were sharing, okay, we're doing power manifestation. And then they would say 0. Huh? I said, what 0? What is 0? I was trying to understand. So then, they will explain, oh, they never say the word NO. They only say yes or 0. Okay? So in the inner space, as simple as no never is uttered for the Gurukul kids. Understand? They They never entertain, oh, I can't do it, oh no, no, and I can't do it, no impossibility at all. At any point in time, they're not allowed to use such words. Understand? So that's why Swamiji hold a very pure space of positivity, possibility for these kids, so that they can flower into enlightened beings and incarnation. Understand? Because at a young age, never hear all this impossibility, they start grooming and growing, and slowly they just feel that life it's just miraculous happening, a constant expansion, evolution. That's how they will feel. That is the space. Okay? It's just like how the cosmos is constantly expanding. Same way, when they feel that space is constantly expanding. So they just be in oneness with the source only. As simple as that. There's no energy block of impossibility. Okay? So that's why bringing them back to the space of completion is absolutely critical. It should be taught to all parents, all teachers, all kids. Understand? Otherwise, your incompletion, you go and entangle with your kids' incompletion, explode into multiple incompletion. Then forever you guys will be living in the space of incompletion, and then bad relationship, impossibility, and then all this kind of thing. You see that in many typical family when a lot of incompletion happen, a lot of bad blood, or a lot of unhappiness, pain, hurt that a person carry in their space. Understand? So now let's come to the main subject, how to do completion with kids. I've set up enough in the last half an hour to tell you why we need to bring completion to the kids. Are you understanding? Give me a thumbs up if you're following me. Okay, great. So we need to look at the kids' space, because kids relate with space, not your words. Especially if kids, younger kids, okay? Because they are established in space, they connect with your space. If your space is filled with violence, anger, they can feel it. Understand? If your space is constantly filled with love, joy, and just, the compassion of a mother, you see they will just be all over you. They will be comfortable with you. They will feel they want to hang around you. So let's look at the space of the kids in different age brackets. And also, there's another important criteria you need to see is whether it's a city kids or village kids, how they're brought up. Okay, like for instance, you see Swamiji is in Indian village where they don't have a lot of pollution of the space happening. They live in this village and they just play, be happy, and a happy camper, right? So those kids, they don't have a lot of incompletion. They are in the pure space of completion, even much older, maybe 10-year-old, 12-year-old, they're still in that space. But for a kids who are living in city where it is highly competitive, highly stressed, by 4 or 5-year-old, they already been forced to leave that space by their parents or by the school. Understand? So you cannot look in a very, very simplistic way, just only at the age group. You also need to consider how they are brought up. The environment, the Vatavarana, they are brought up. Swamiji talk about Vatavarana, which is the ambience they are brought up, how they are nurtured, how they are brought up, how they are conditioned. That plays a major role. Okay? if they are brought up in the environment where there are constant violent fights, bad vulgarity spewing from the mouths from different people, like a lot of violence and negativity, you can see the child will leave the space very early. However, if the child just live with nature, living with cows, living with trees, river, and friends, and just play the whole time and don't have to worry about school that much, you'll see that child flowers much better, and they're all constantly in that space of pure awareness and completion, right? So have to look at from the child's upbringing, especially difference between city kids and the village kids. Okay? So for younger kids, where they're still in the pure space, the completion is very, very quick and fast. The older kids, you take a little bit more time, because by then verbalization has already entered and the mind has already been created. So completion takes a little bit more time. Whereas for kids who are very, very young, like 4-year-old, 5-year-old, they're still in the pure space. Completion can happen very quickly. I give you one example. From now on, I'm going to share a lot of examples based on my experiences. Okay. So recently, I have to complete a child who's 4-year-old boy in my Gurukul class. Okay, he comes to my Sunday Gurukul class. And this child, before he came, obviously he has been given a lot of ideas of impossibility. So one day, we're doing yoga. As you know, after Guru Puja, we do yoga, right? Nityananda yoga. And we're doing some balancing posture. The 108 Pratama Vinyasa Krama. And guess what? The boy, the 4-year-old, cannot balance. And he was very frustrated. And he just said, I can't do it. I can't do it. He was just shouting in frustration. Okay? Started throwing tantrum to the mom. The mom was there by the side. So he was getting angry and frustrated because he feels that he's not able to do it. He tried. It's not that he didn't try. He tried, but he couldn't do it. And in that frustration, it makes it worse because the mind is, getting agitated. In balancing, you need to be aware, you need to be able to focus, right? But the more agitation he has, the more he cannot balance. That's sorry, my video. That's the reality, okay? So I call him, I just say, come, let me do it with you. So I show him how he can balance with me holding the space of possibility for him, okay? And after that, he got better, okay? And after that, after the session, I talk to him, I say, look, see, it's not that you can't, it's just that you need to try, and you keep saying, I can't, you really can't, because you say no to yourself, you give up on yourself. But if you, without uttering that impossibility, all those words, I can't, and just do it, you will be able to do it. If you don't know, you ask me, I will guide you. So from there, I just make him complete with that idea of impossibility. No impossibility. It's always possible. You just need to give yourself a chance to try. So like that only, simple, straightforward, completion, drop it there. Understand? So a lot of such situation will occur when you are in the Gurukul session. You pick up kids, what they, gather from parents, from school, from society. You catch them and quickly complete them. The situation will present itself for you to complete. Okay? So for kids like at that age, you don't need to make them go through really 5 times and then cry, and then after that, complete. No such thing. That's adult way of doing it, okay? For them, it's just bring awareness, shift the cognition, boom, go. Just shift into a powerful cognition from a powerless cognition to a powerful cognition, done. Back to their completion space. Understand? So, because they're still in their pure space, when you show them, understand, kids, they watch, they follow your body language, not your verbalization. You can tell 1,001 words, but they don't catch much. They see what you do and they follow, right? It's not by your words, it's by your action that they feel whether you are authentic or not, or you're integrated or not. If you tell them, oh, one thing, and you behind their back and do one thing, they will know, right? So like, for instance, you tell your kids, oh, you cannot do this, and then behind their back, you're doing the same thing, which you told them not to do, then they will know. That's pure authenticity, right? You tell them one thing, and then you do the other thing and show them a different face. So you need to show them by action, by your body language. And then from that only, they will catch it, your muscle memory, biomemory. Got it? Yes, for young kids. Just instant completion, just shift them into powerful cognition. Help them bring understanding. Have patience to listen to them. Have patience to bring them to the right understanding. The same kid also. In one of the session, one of Guruku's session, he wanted to use a paper from another boy because he wanted to use the same paper. They were doing blindfold power manifestation. Okay, they were playing tic-tac-toe. Blindfolded, and they were supposed to play the tic-tac-toe. You understand? Okay, so and the same boy, the 4-year-old boy, want that paper which they shared, the partner, and the partner said, no, you're going to take another paper, and he cannot accept it because then he started throwing tantrum, crying and screaming, and I was like, what's going on? This is the first time I'm seeing in such a, angry moment. So he was crying like so badly and said, no, I want that paper, Then he said, why we give you another paper? I said, no, I don't want to waste paper. I don't want to kill tree. And then he was crying so badly, and he just insisted on wanting that paper. And then the boy was just saying, no, I don't want to give you, I want that paper. So the boy was an older boy, I think maybe 10-year-old. So in the end, after the big hoo-ha of the crying, and he decided that the elder boy give to the boy. Okay, so I finished the class. After the class, I pulled the 4-year-old and make him complete with this incident. I never let him go without completing. I stay back and pull him. I tell the mother, bring him in. I need to complete him before I let him go back. So same way, I sat with him. I talked to him. I help him bring understanding. I make him complete. And then he just go to Swamiji's Paduka, Swamiji's sandal, and just do the completion. Just say, okay, I drop this thing, and then, first bring understanding, shift the cognition, and just make him drop that whatever pattern or incompletion at his feet, and then let him go. That's all. Okay? If you have Swamiji's Murti, you have Swamiji's Paduka, anything. Just make him, shift him, and then go to the Paduka and just complete it. Drop it at his feet. As simple as that. These are young kids. Follow me? Yes? Thumbs up? Tracking? Okay. Let's go now to the slightly older kids. Okay? Understand, slightly older kids, they already start to develop a mind. They have their likes, dislikes, So, and they have a lot more dust collected in their inner space, put it that way. more incompletion and more different perceptions about themselves, about life, right? Now, those kids require a lot of listening. Understand? It means You need to provide your listening. See, for an adult, whether you're a teacher or whether you're a parent, the way to enter into their space, the space of the child, is by listening. Listening is the key or the door for you to enter into their space. When you don't provide authentic listening inside your mind, when they're talking, you have already certain judgment going on, having a separate conversation inside, and say, oh yeah, this boy, or constantly doing this, that breaks the whole listening. Okay, just listen with awareness, without judgment, anything you gather from the past or what you know about the kids. Just listen in awareness of what the child has to tell you. Then from the awareness space, then you can guide the child to the completion. Understand? So provide listening. Come to their space. You not pulling them to your adult space. Especially a lot of parents, they are time pressure, restless, no time. They just quick, everything fast. They don't have time to listen to the kid, and they just want the kid to do things their way. And then that breaks the whole thing. The child, after a while, they know that you're not listening. They just don't want to talk to you. Shut down, and you can never open that space anymore. Understand? The parents have to make effort to make sure that you are able to provide listening, so that they felt that they're able to feel that you are authentically trying to help them or resolve something. Not trying to go through action, but your space is not ready. You just want to do, you just want to get over it. Don't have the patience. Okay? So provide listening is the first step to these kids, so that you can once again, let me just snap a picture of all the people attending. Great. Okay. So, Camus, can you ask Choke, is she okay with the pace of the translation? Am I speaking too fast?
Yes, that she's okay.
Okay, good. Same thing for Swararupa. Everything's okay? Okay, great. I'm not speaking too fast, are you not catching up? Okay. So enter into space of listening. See, when I were taught the science of completion in 2012, Swamiji introduced that in Awakening. And then in 2013, he spent one whole year talking about the 4 tattvas in completion. The moment I started doing completion within myself, I started to spend time with my son, okay? To do a lot of completion with him. See, by the time he was already 10-year-old, 2013, okay? He was already 10-year-old. So much older kid, not like the 7-year-old, like a 4-year-old kid like I was mentioning about just now. So what I did was, see, every night before he sleep, I will spend some time with him, talk to him and all that. I make an effort. So I will basically, before he sleep, talk to him about what's happening in school today. It's just like a casual chit chat, okay? So in that casual environment before sleep, we just talk about, hey, what happened today? Anything exciting happen? Anything disturbing happen? What did the teacher do? That kind of thing, just casual chit with your friends. Do you have fun with your friends, or do your friend bully you? Anything like that, just chit chat. Then from that casual talk, he will share something. Then it can be even something that created by me or my husband, right? Maybe he had some incompletion with us that happened during the day, or, you know. So that is a moment I spend to clean up his inner space, all the dust he collected that day, make him complete before I sent him to sleep. Every night. For about 3 months to 6 months, I was doing that every night. I found about how he was bullied in school. I found what the teachers tell him. I found, what his dad did to him or what his dad said to him that hurt him. So all these things, and even me, what I did to him. So I have to complete that. Then if let's say it's something pertaining me, understand? So like that only, I, through those little sessions, and every night I make sure that he complete. And I can tell you, I can see a shift after I've been doing that for months. He becomes so happy, joyful, constantly in the happy mood, joyful mood, and no longer in that, like heavy, feeling sad, like dragging to go to school, that kind of space. He's happy and he's constantly being joyful and healthy. So you can see that the completion really bring him before he fall to sleep. The completion space where he entered and he had a good sleep, no nightmares and anything like that. And he wake up being fresh and alive. So that's what I did for many months when he, when I started to learn about the science of completion. As a mother, I decided that I have to bring a lot of whatever incompletion I created in my past unknowingly due to my ignorance or due to my patterns. I have to start completing with him. Okay, so like this only I completed with him. Especially, I used to have this anger pattern and I had to complete with him with my anger. I have to share with you this incident, which is very funny. See, in 2012, before Swamiji taught us about this science of completion, okay, I used to have this anger problem. I used to be a very angry person, okay, frustrated. And because he's such an evolved soul, he know how to play with me. In a sense, he will know how to press my button. So that day I got angry. Whenever I get angry, it's because he doesn't listen to me. And then I would take the wooden ladder and would chase him. It's like in the house, I would chase him and he'll be running like Tom and Jerry and running. Run, 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 run. After that, and he'll be laughing and I'll be angry running after him. So that's a scene. So from this room, he run to the hall and he will run to the kitchen and he'll be running like this. Okay, then I'll be running after him. Then suddenly he tried to avoid me catching up with him. He jumped to my bed, and then in that jumping he fell and knocked his head, okay, on the floor. That moment I was totally shaken. because of my anger, I was not able to control, and he knocked himself, he hurt himself because he tried to avoid me. That moment I just have a deep realization that I cannot carry on this anger pattern anymore. Otherwise I will destroy him or destroy me one day, because I'm not able to handle it. So in that, I remember in the Inner Awakening in 2012 December, I tell Swamiji, please help me to complete with this anger pattern. I'm just, this is something that I cannot have it anymore. I make a very strong intention to complete that. Okay, so that was what I have to come to the level. Good thing is that nothing. It was just like a bump only. He just knocked his head. Can you imagine? He landed wrongly and broke his neck and he died. Can you imagine what am I going to face with the rest of my life? It will be like horrible, guilt and torture. That was the moment I was like, a thing hit me. I said, no, I have to complete with this pattern. So I'm just sharing with you. So from then on, I realized that I have to put in effort to complete with all the past that I did not, which I've created, which I did not do, with awareness. So slowly, only I completed with him, through a period of time. Okay, so kids, you need to provide your listening, get into their space, and allow that communication to happen. Okay, now let's get into the older kids, teenagers, all the way up to young adult. Okay. Now, as you know, teenagers at that age, they have this tendency to want to, see, at the age they're exploring their identity. See, when they're younger, they will listen to you most of the time. Whatever mommy say, they will follow. As they're growing older, especially they reach teenage, they have a mind of their own now. They may not follow whatever you tell them. Right? You've seen teenagers, if you're good, they can still talk to you. Otherwise, they'll shut themselves and they have their own privacy. they have own, space, and they don't want to talk to you. If you have never done any completion with them, this is what's going to happen. They will lock themselves and they do not talk to you. They will hang out with their friends more than you. They will feel embarrassed hanging out with you. They feel it's not cool hanging out with the parents. The parents is just, not cool. They only want to spend more time with their friends. But if you have done the completion at a very young age, that means, before they reach teenage, build that communication and communion. Even by the time they reach teenage, if any incompletion can be completed very quickly, just like what they did with the 4-year-old kid. Understand? But if you have never done that, you allow that to accumulate to become a big backlog of incompletions. Then you have to work harder. Understand? Because at the time, you have to battle with a few things. One, the child already have a mind of his own. He's developing a personality, an identity. Next, if you have never done your work and taking the responsibility, the child would have created a lot of incompletion with you or even from society, which means you need to work harder to help the child to bring to completion. That's why start the completion as young as possible. Don't wait till they are old. You see, when we met Swamiji, we're already in our adulthood. And so much we had to do to complete. We had to cry so many times. We had to do all this samskara dahara kriya and so much work that we had to do before we can come back to the, space of completion. But for kids, that they are still there in the pure space. Don't allow them to accumulate. Don't allow them to aggregate too much. Okay, if you are able to have that understanding, then start helping them as early as possible. Catch them when you see there's certain incompletion, start developing in them. Certain patterns start developing in them. Okay, so for teenager, right? Let's go to the teenager. Understand, no matter even at that age where they are already exploring their identity, whenever you're able to provide listening, you can again bring them back to the space of the child. That's a beautiful part. Amazing revelation by Swamiji. Okay? That means what? If you're able to provide listening and bring that communication happening, again, you can bring them back to the original space. Even though they may be already in the teenage, life stage. So, and you should know at the age, because they're experimenting, they're trying out new things. They want to know, is this for them? Because they're curious, right? And plus the hormonal is raging, they're going through puberty and all that. So you have many challenges because they're physically, physiologically going through changes, and then you have never done completion, they will accumulate a lot of completion. And then, of course, the schoolwork and all this thing accumulating. So all that becomes a lot more challenging if you try to complete teenager or young adults, right? Okay, so the good news is if you are able to create that listening space and help the kids, even though they're experimenting, you need to know that you should always be there to, in a way, guide them. Because you see, at that young age, they do not know the danger, to be honest with you, right? They may be influenced by their friends because the friends, encourage them to do something and all that. So you need to be able to have that communication channel still open so that you can bring completion or you can help the child if the child is in the state of confusion or unawareness, ignorance. Understand? Because you cannot, like, you see, I remember Maui was telling me, one of the greatest mistake that a lot of parents, especially Western parents, okay, they commit is that, oh, the kids are already teenage, they should have their own privacy. We just leave them, treat them like adult. No, they cannot be treated as adult yet, because that's the time they're still exploring. They don't know the danger. You should always still be there to know what they are doing. Okay? But give them the space to explore, where you're still in their life to be able to. So basically, at that age, it's where they're going through, part of growing up. The growing up comes with a lot of, one, distractions, physiological changes. That means the body is going through different chemical reactions due to the hormonal changes. The mind is going through a change as well, because they're exploring their identity, discovering what they can do, what they can't do. Because it is this stage they like to say no, because they feel that they say no, they feel that they're adult. The moment they say no, okay, I'm old. I feel that I can, I can say no to my parents. I feel that I'm grown up now. So that's the stage they constantly say no. So that's the challenging part about doing completion at this age, is that you need to provide a lot of listening and patience and get into their life. That means be involved in their life, so that you can basically still be a friend in the child's life. Do you understand? A friend means they feel that they're not intimidated by you. They feel that they can include you. Feeling included is important, not feeling excluded. If the child has never built a relationship with the parents, because the parents have never done, or never try or take responsibility, so they're living under the same roof, but in separate space. Then when you try to do completion, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder for you to even try to influence them. It's a lot harder when you try to bring completion to them. So first part is get involved in their life and provide listening. Then slowly gain their trust and comfort, so that they can open up to you. Okay, so with that, I'm going to pause now to open for questions. I'm going to leave half an hour for questions.